Welcome to Unpopular Opinion with Schaafy and Pals, Season 1, Episode 4B. We got another pal. I have more than one friend. Checks in the mail to both of my friends. It's going to be a little rubber check for $10. You can go down to the grocery outlet bargain market and get yourself a 7-Up cake. I just want to welcome everybody. Today is the day. We are doing episode 3 of the 3-part series. We know I've been catching a lot of grief all week for my unpopular opinion about the Seattle Mariners, and we're going to get into that. And I got an expert today that's going to blow your socks off. He's a good friend of mine. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about what I did yesterday. Yesterday was Halloween for most, but for the Mount Tahoma Thunderbirds, it was the day that we locked up the 3A League Championship. It used to be called Narrows League, and now it's like the SPSL 3A League. And we beat the pants off the Lakes Lancers. Lakewood thought they were going to come into South Tacoma and own us, and we literally beat them 28-7. Lakes didn't even score a touchdown until like the last minute of the game. It was incredible to watch. It was nostalgic. I ran into a couple old friends. I finally saw the Mount Tahoma hat that I'm going to get. I didn't get one because I was like glued to the game up there. But I can tell you, we are now league champions, and we have, I think it's like 5 games to go for the ultimate prize. I was really, really nostalgic at the game because of the fact that we didn't have this luck or this skill, if you will, when I was going to school. Mount Tahoma was great in the 70s and 80s, and then there was like a lull in like the 1990s when I was in school in football, and in the early 2000s they started getting really great. But we were the last in inner city school to win back-to-back state titles in 1979 and 1980. And then they were good in the 80s, and then in the 90s, I don't know, it is what it is. Maybe we were listening to too much Dr. Dre and smoking too much of the chronic. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is, but we are number one in the league and number one in our hearts again. And it was incredible to go to the game. It was a lot of what I was feeling when I was at the game and seeing some old friends, but watching somebody that I care for so much, the Mount Tahoma Thunderbirds, my alma mater, that is ingrained in my soul, started making me feel about what's happening with the way I'm feeling about the Mariners right now, and we're going to get into that. Um, Before we get into that, I got to kick it off. We got to get this party jumping. So I want to welcome everybody. This is episode 3 of the 3-part series. We're going to talk Mariners. We're going to talk some sports. I got a product of the week coming up. We're going to have a good heart-to-heart. I got a great expert for you. So let's get this party started.
Unpopular Opinion, that's the name of the show. Hosted by Schaafy and some pals that he knows. We'll have a heart-to-heart, so tune in and subscribe. It's Unpopular Opinion and a hell of a vibe. Love it or dislike it, it's all just the same. 'Cause Unpopular Opinion is there in the name.
Oh, yeah. Unpopular opinion is there in the name. And I got a buddy with me today that I'm sure is going to have a ton of them. And I'm sure he's going to rip me a new one for my unpopular opinion. Everybody, welcome to the show. My great buddy, Mr. Matt Bell. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Michael. I appreciate it being here, and I will be gentle. I promise that. There's some things I think that we agree upon. We'll say that.
Go on. Tell me about how you agree with everything that I said.
Well,
No, you don't have
I
to get
will say
into it.
that. I definitely would say I agree with everything, but I will say I was ahead of the curve a little bit on this in your position last year, to where I promised my brother-in-law and that I wouldn't buy any Mariner memorabilia until they started spending money in the off season, because last off season was awful. We
Right,
didn't spend a
right.
single penny. The people that we did spend money on didn't even make it, and so I know how you feel inside. I'll say
Got it.
that.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's a really good way to kick it off. And we'll get into all of that, of course, but I want to give you the proper introduction. I want to talk about, well, number one, I've been really trying to up my game on this podcast, and as we know, for the first few episodes, I had a lot of technical issues. You couldn't hear some pals. Theme songs wouldn't play. Our pets' heads are falling off. All sorts of things were happening.
Growing
Uh,
pains.
just growing pains. And right now, I'm utilizing a new software. Shout out to Riverside.fm. It's literally the number one podcast software on the market that you can get. And now I'm able to actually have you kind of zoom in, if you will. I know that's not the brand, but I got
No.
you via satellite on from Montana. You're in the state of Montana, big sky
Yes, sir.
country. I keep giving you grief and saying, hi, we're in
Hey,
Montana.
hey. Most majestic place you'll ever go to in the United States.
Fair enough. I have been
It,
there. It is every sense of the word big sky country. How are you enjoying it?
I love it. It is somewhere that has a special place in my heart. Been coming over here since I was a young kid, and that's kind of what made help make the move over here. Is we knew what we were getting into and stuff like that, and wouldn't leave it. Wouldn't leave it. If I
Right.
won the lottery tomorrow, I'd just buy a bigger house.
Just buy a bigger house. I remember it was a few years. You've been out there for about 3 or 4 years now, correct?
Yes, sir.
I remember when you moved away, and I remember you telling me that you were going to move there, and I was heartbroken, and I was like, well, the reality is that it's not like we're hanging out every weekend, anyways. We'll still talk, and we do. We talk all the time.
And we do. I mean, when you have 4 kids like myself
Right.
and a wife at home and a full-time job that you travel a lot, hanging out on the weekends stuff, it makes it a little bit tougher, unfortunately.
Right. Right. And you got a twofer on a couple of those kids. You got little twins.
Yeah, we had a boy and a girl originally, my 11 and 8-year-old, and we thought we'd have one more, and we were blessed with two
And you
identical
got two
girls.
more. That's a
Yep,
twofer. That's
yep.
amazing.
My son Colt and I and my dog Felix were outnumbered by the girls now.
Oh gosh. But you're still yeah, your dog Felix, and we know that that's 100% because of King Felix Hernandez.
Absolutely, absolutely. We
Absolutely.
got him on his last season that he was with the Mariners, and Felix Hernandez will always have a special place in my heart. I actually got his bobblehead right up above me here.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, nice. Well, I'm really glad that you joined us. I met you in August of 2015. So it has been a full decade of it's all on this side of the table, bro. I just really
Yes,
appreciate your friendship. And I wanted to kind of
no,
ask you. Oh, go ahead.
no. Hey, absolutely. It's likewise, my friend.
Oh, thank
Likewise.
you. Yeah, I just wanted to
You're a
get your
very
first thoughts.
knowledgeable person.
Go on, tell me more about me.
Well,
Just
Michael, I don't know if you noticed, but I feel like your face is extra chiseled today. The beard wears nicely, just so you know, it's looking good on
yeah.
you. Yep,
Oh
that
yeah.
Mount Tahoma shirt looks good. Have they won a state championship before?
Yeah, so we won back to back in 79 and 80.
Okay, so you're due. You're due.
So we're due. Right, right. So like and I mentioned this the other day in the podcast on episode 1 of this three-part series that I'm no stranger to winning championships. My football team has done it, my high school team has done it, my basketball team wins them all the time. My hockey team, the Maple Leafs haven't won one since 1969. However, they have are the second most Stanley Cups ever. So they're due as well, but that's one of the big things about the Mariners. They haven't even been to the show. But before we
Who's your
get into
basketball?
that,
Okay, okay,
the
okay.
oh the
Sorry.
Lakers, bro, all day long. We know I'm a Lakers fan.
Uh,
Kobe,
uh,
and I grew up Magic
Kobe,
Johnson, Michael
yes,
Cooper, Kurt Rambis, those guys. The Showtime Ball.
yes.
Yep. I wanted to ask you your first thoughts about me, and I wanted to share you mine. I remember going into we worked with each other at a company called T-Mobile, T-Mobes, and we worked at a corporate store together. This was a decade ago in Puyallup, Washington. And I remember my very first day after getting out of training and coming to the store and meeting the team, all the characters there. Some of who I still talk to here and there, but you are definitely the one person I talk to all the time. But I remember meeting you, and I remember being like, okay, this guy is somebody I should pay attention to. He's got a good style. He's kind of funny, but also be careful because he'll probably get you. and I mean that in a good way. Like, this guy is a little bit too much like me. I gotta watch out because I'm sure he's a prankster. And that was my very first thought of you. And I was like, this guy for sure. Because you always got that shit eating grin on your face where there's something cooking in there. And you're like, oh, yeah, you know what we should do? And then I'm like, I'm all ears. What's up? And Jeremy comes around the corner. What are we doing? Like, that was
I
my,
always tried to make work as less of work as possible, and always tried to have fun doing it, because man, those days could get long sometimes, and sometimes you go on a streak of just uh pardon my French, shitty customer after shitty customer, and you just kind of
right,
need to exit that realm a little bit.
right. Oh, totally. I, Gosh, and we had a lot of those. We had a client and a customer, and I'm not going to name their name. Don't name their name. It doesn't matter. But you know who I'm talking about. You're starting to laugh. So when this is so funny, and this is like I was there for like a month, and I'm still the new guy, and the client comes in the door, and I turn around because I wasn't the next person up who's supposed to be handling it, and all of you guys left and went into the back room, and I was like, what the heck? And it was this customer walked in, and so I helped her, and I ended up selling her something, and she left, and you guys all came out, and you were like, that's so and so, and we can't, like, she stinks and we can't help her. And I was like, why did you leave me alone? You guys all ran
That was
away.
Oh, absolutely. I have spent hours with that lady, and I know exactly what lady that you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
will
yeah,
say, when you sold her something, I don't know if you noticed, but I also started helping her after that. Not
yeah.
because you sold her something, because I was like, you know what? He if he can get down, put his boots on and deal with this, so can I.
My
I need to be
yeah,
doing it as well.
my nose was always plugged up. Remember, I was still an alcoholic back then, and I was just always sick. Always congested, everything. So I didn't smell her like everybody. And until one day she came in, and yeah, and she definitely had a foul stench. It was tough, but you still got to help everybody. Try to do my best.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It makes you wonder whatever happened to her.
yeah, who knows? I don't know. I couldn't tell
Yeah.
you. I can tell you her health didn't look so good. So
No.
you don't want to think that's probably what happened though. Moving forward from that
S-
crazy client.
Let me tell you my first thoughts.
Yeah, yeah. Tell me
So
everything.
when you first came in, anytime, if you ever worked in a sales position or whatnot, anytime there's a new person, you're automatically trying to find out their resume, because you're like, all
Right,
right, is this guy going to blow me out of the water? Is he going to make me look stupid? And when you first came in, I seen your resume. I seen how you presented yourself. You came in a suit, for one, and nobody came in a suit. It was always, you could always tell that it would
right.
be one of their first sales jobs. And I was like, oh great, this guy's gonna know that I know nothing about business, and he's gonna he talks intelligent. He's gonna step right over me.
He's
And
gonna
I was
see
like,
right through me.
yeah, yeah, exactly. He probably knows the game better than I do, and honestly, I was intimidated.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
I
sir.
had no clue that. Well, I'm sure that within the first month, I completely eliminated any intimidation.
No, hey, I think you're selling yourself short.
Okay.
You
Well, thank you.
came in and you did very well. You were very aggressive. And I mean, I think we kind of all know what happened down that road that turned
Sure.
wrong. I just like anybody, I've been in spots like that where you just totally lose momentum, you lose your
Right.
drive, and it's not more of like, hey, what am I going to do today? It's like, oh, I can't wait till today's over.
Right. Oh,
And
it was
so
totally that way. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, you see right through that for sure. You know me very well in that
Well, I've been
respect.
there. I've been in those
Right.
shoes to where you think something's going to be fun, and it might have been fun at one point, but if it's a sport, if it's a job, one person can definitely take you out of your realm.
Absolutely, absolutely. But we had a lot of fun in that store. I was there for over a year before I went to AT&T, jump ship. Um, but yeah, so I remember this one time, and we were all out front talking, and you got me so good. And so when you talk about that you were a little intimidated, like I was a little jealous of you at this one point because you made the funniest joke I've arguably ever heard inside of the T-Mobile. And I can't remember exactly, and maybe you remember exactly what we were talking about, but I was telling a story because that's what I do. Guilty with the stories. And you were very quiet, and I can tell that you were just waiting. You had something. You had this knife, you were going to cut it, and you were going to get me, and you were going to steal all of the thunder with one little display. And I said something, and you said gold jacket, green jacket. I don't give a shit. And
It's
everybody
who
stopped.
gives a shit.
Yeah, who gives a
I quoted,
shit?
yeah, it's
Happy
a Happy
Gilmore.
Gilmore.
Yeah, who gives a shit? Yeah, you said it just like that. Gold jacket, green jacket.
Green
Who gives
jacket,
a
who
shit?
gives a shit? Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And everybody stopped looking at me, and they looked at you, and they erupted in laughter. And then they looked at me, and they were like pointing, like, oh, he burned you so good. And I was like, you son of, remember, I was looking at you like, you son of a bitch.
My apologies if I have a pea brain, and when something reminds me of a movie or a line I will definitely, still to this day, shout
Yeah,
it out. It
it'll come
doesn't
out.
matter who it is. Yeah, I can't stop.
It triggers it. It happens with movies, music. Yeah, I'm guilty of it as
I
well.
mean, I think even before, before we started recording, I started doing the hands thing because I didn't know what to do with
Just
my
you didn't know
hands.
what to do with your hands. Yeah, just go ahead and set them down there at your side. We're gonna be sitting here, and they're gonna slowly come up again. So people
Exactly.
watching on the YouTube, for those of you listening on the Spotify, and again, I don't know if you heard, I hit the 100 streams on Spotify. I have a listener in Australia. Oh, thank you. Well, hey,
Good day, mate.
yeah, good day, mate. I don't know who it is. Spotify doesn't tell me who it is, but I have a listener in Australia. I appreciate that. And so it's because of the guests that I'm having on. It's my pals. It's because of people like you and Donnie and Amber and Tommy and etc. Um, so gosh, 10 years we've known each other. You've seen me at my best. You've seen me at my worst. I definitely think that I'm at my best right now, but I wanted to share another funny story. Self-deprecating humor is really the way to go. And you and myself and Jeremy were out golfing at Spanaway Lake. Do you remember we golfed one time together, us three?
Are you sure it wasn't Bilo?
It wasn't Bilo.
Okay,
It
it
was
might have
you,
been
me,
me.
and
It might have been.
it was definitely you, me, and Jeremy.
Uh
And
huh.
we were on like on the back nine, and we were going to hit over this water. It's like one of the holes that has water on it. And there's a little bathroom next to the hole. And we were up there, and I had my own cart, and you and Jeremy were sharing a cart. And I was really hungover. These were my drinking days. This was a decade ago. And I teed off on this little par three, and I just threw my club into the cart, and I just drove down to the bathroom. Do you remember this now?
I don't. Give me just a sec, Michael. I'm so sorry. My
It
dog
took.
Felix, he's
So I'm going to keep telling the story while you're doing the
yeah,
thing.
you keep
Yeah,
telling the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
I'm
So
back. I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good.
okay, he's back. So I hit the ball, and without skipping a beat, I just throw my club into the cart, and I drive down to the bathroom. So what had happened is I was really, really hungover and shouldn't have been out on the golf course, and I was dehydrated, and I just felt like crap, and I had bubble guts. It was really bad. And I had sharded when I took my shot.
Oh no.
Yeah. So and I had to drive all the way down to the. If this was Bilo, I'm pretty sure it was you and Jeremy.
I'm positive this was Bilo because
Okay,
I
so it
remember
was
you guys
Bilo.
telling me about this. Yes.
Okay, so my bad. Great
No,
story
that's
though from the
okay.
T Mobes days, but this was like some of the stuff that my body was going through because of being such a bad alcoholic. And you had seen me at those really bad worst years where it was just killing me. It was affecting everything in my life.
You you would call. So you one of my favorite that I still snicker about, and I mean, again, if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't.
Right.
It's you would call me every time I knew that you were in a good spot, we'll say. You
Yes.
would call me, and we would talk and talk and talk and talk.
Right.
One time you called me, and we talked for like an hour, and then you were like, "Hey, okay, I gotta go. I'm gonna get going to this. Love you." Da 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 da. We hung up, and then you called me right back and acted like we hadn't even talked the whole time. It's like, okay.
That sounds about right. And that was right. I was no 100%. And yeah, if we can't laugh at yourself because being in that vicious cycle of my life was killing me. And you guys were, you know, you were one of the few people that would answer the phone. People had stopped answering the phone. And I know that there's many
Nah,
times that I had called where, you're probably like, oh, here we go. But I
not at
appreciate
all.
that because you definitely gave me chances to vent and talk. And so anytime that you did that, that was great. I appreciate that. That's a
Anytime,
big
brother.
deal. Well, and then, in those talks, I start to understand, a little bit more about you. And I find out, kind of moving forward, introducing you as an expert here and why I brought you on is that you grew up playing baseball. You're not just a baseball fan. You started. I wanted you to kind of tell the fans and the listener in Australia a little bit about your history with baseball as a fan, but also as a player.
So for me, I started at a very, very young age. I think I was probably 3 when I first started playing baseball.
Wow.
It was something that me and my brother would go out in the backyard, and he was older than I was by 3 or 4 years, and he'd
Hmm.
always have his friends come over, and they couldn't just play one-on-one, so I would be the guy. I would come up and be on one of their teams, and we would rotate and start playing a game. Well, I didn't have the best of childhood, we'll say,
Hmm.
and baseball was a very good gap fill for me when it was something that I could always lean on, and it is something that I fell in love with at a very young age because it was something that I enjoyed doing. I was always pretty good at it, to be not to be cocky or anything like that,
Right.
but it was something that I was able to excel at. And moving on, as I grew older, I was again fortunate enough to have friends around me in my little town that I grew up in where baseball was their thing as well. So I
Right.
had a friend when I was, shoot, I think from fourth grade all the way to our sophomore year in high school, would come over to my house every summer, and he would knock on my window because of some reasons I couldn't have friends knock on the door. That's kind of the
Right.
weird stuff that had happened in my household. But
Yeah.
they would knock on my window, I would jump out my window, and we'd go down to this field, and there would be 3 or 4 of us, and we would play every day, and then we would go swimming in the Carbon River.
Yeah.
Then we would come back and play 2 more games, 3 more games, and we'd go swimming one more time, and then we'd come back and play 1 more game and go home. And this literally happened every single day. It never failed. It was the same thing for summer on in, and the only time that we took breaks from playing is when we played on a tournament team, and we had games those nights to where we would be going and playing on our select team or summer ball or whatever it was. And then that's where we would take our breaks from playing down on that field. And like I said, I fell in love with it a long, long, long time ago,
It's
and
giving
it's
Sandlot
always been.
vibes right now. I
Yeah,
got Sandlot
and that's
vibes right
exact.
now. Yeah.
And it's really sad because there's a couple people that played with us that are no longer with us, and
Yeah.
it
Sorry.
definitely was 100% Sandlot vibes, and
Yeah.
it's. I don't know where I'd be today without it. I know that sounds really dumb, but I could have made worse friends and been in worse situations because I was open to it.
Right.
Especially at a young age with no guidance.
Right. So you guys start growing up. You play in middle school. You play in high school.
Yeah.
And how did your high school team do? Were you guys good? Were you guys in league?
So
How'd you fare?
I went to Ording High School,
Yeah.
and Ording High
Home of the
School.
Cardinals, right? The Cardinals?
Yeah, home
Yeah.
of the Cardinals.
Hmm.
We were known for wrestling,
Yeah.
and
They still
football.
are. My buddy
Y-
won back to back to back to back state championships in wrestling.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ording don't mess around in wrestling. And
No.
when my brother was a senior in, I think, 1999, the football program started turning around as well.
Yeah.
And they started building an actual program to where we were winning because before that we were awful. Just
Right.
same with baseball, same with basketball.
Yeah.
And And so I was fortunate enough when I went to high school, they had built that program in football, and that program was building in baseball because people kind of seen what the leadership part of it looked like. And it was more of a team than it was, hey, everybody just showing up to play baseball. So
Right.
my baseball career, I think we were like one of the first team in, I want to say, over 20 years or something like that to actually go to the state playoffs. We made it
Nice.
to we made it to the semifinals, and we ended up losing on a stupid play. But
Sure.
that I
Bill
high school,
Buckner at first base. It goes through and then game's over.
right? Bases loaded bunt with no outs. We needed one
Oh,
run with your three
really?
hole hitter or 4 hole hitter up. Yes, stupid.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I wouldn't change it for the world. High school baseball was some
Right.
of the most fun I ever had.
Yeah, but then you moved on from high school and you played collegiate baseball.
Yep. I went and I played a little bit at Green River. I played a little
Yeah.
bit at TCC.
Yeah.
Um, for me, it was, I mean, that again, that was my outlet. So I was playing sports, and then I got a girlfriend, bought a car, and then that
Right.
dream
Right.
slowly faded. And then I started playing men's softball and traveling around, and I did that and I'm 41 now, and we were traveling around when I was like 37, 38. Once I had kids is when I had to slow down because I couldn't go every weekend and stuff like that.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
there was nights where I'd be playing 8 games a night. Like it
Holy
was,
cow.
get off. You know how it was at T-Mobile, and it
Yeah.
was funny because I was young enough at that point to where if T-Mobile would have told me no, I would have just left anyways. I wouldn't
It's
have been there
yeah.
on the weekend.
Sorry, baseball's more important than,
Yeah,
softball's more
that
important than
100%.
I I played in the softball league. I wasn't in the competitive ones. But I played. In fact, I was in a league with our boy JD McCoo for a little bit. JD, shout out to JD.
JD's a
And we
bad man.
he would hit home runs, man. I'm telling you. I would
Yeah.
he was on the other team. He would hit a home run. I'm like, oh damn, he's pretty good. But I was
When I
in
ended was like done playing, JD
yeah
was starting to play, and
yeah
you could tell that he was putting it together, and he started
yeah.
swinging it.
He's good. He's good. Shout out to JD. I don't know. I don't think he listens. I'll send him a link and say, hey, we gave you a shout out. So now you transition into the softball and it's way different, right? I mean, it's you're not overhand, the ball size, the bats, etc. How did you transition? How well was it easy to you at first because baseball's baseball, or were there certain things that took a little bit longer for you to grasp going into the softball world?
Um, it was I would say it was an easy transition. It was,
Yeah,
yeah, because I would still play baseball here and there as well as softball. It was a pretty
right,
easy transition. I just had to change some things up to get good timing. But other than that, it was, I mean, same game, different size ball,
right, right.
and different slower pitch. But it's funny, you think, and you might have experienced this when you played. You think, oh, they're just throwing it underhand. Well, they're pretty good at mixing up the speeds.
Yeah, they
And
are, and the
it
rotations and or
yep,
lack of thereof.
curves, all that stuff. Yeah, and so
Yeah,
it's a baseball at a slower pace, but it's still
right.
very competitive.
But and the other thing about it, it's still timing. Whether I get the timing down on a 90-mile-an-hour fastball or I get the timing down on a 40-mile-an-hour, lobber, it's all
Right,
about timing. You have to still have the hand-eye coordination. You have to time it. You have to, it's skill. There's skill involved. So naturally, I can
absolutely.
understand that. Being, good at baseball for so long, there is a nice transition. I found the same thing when I transitioned into softball, and I wasn't the best in the world. I can hit, I can catch, I can throw. Baseball's a simple game, but I wasn't doing that at a high level. I found that there was I actually liked it better. I was like, cool, let's slow things down, bro. I just had 3 beers in the parking lot. Let's slow things down.
Right. I
So,
could never drink and play. That's one thing that I don't know how people do.
well, I'll tell you how I did it. It's because I didn't necessarily have a choice. The reality is that I was drinking, and if that was controlling everything around me. Like I was going to do all this other stuff, and drinking was just part of it. But so all these years, so you're growing up as a kid, sandlot style, hopping out the window, swimming in the river, going into middle school, going into high school, going into playoffs, playing a little bit in collegiate. and transitioning through into the softball. And this entire time, you are a fan of the Seattle Mariners. Yes?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
So
I
let's
was
get into
a
it.
psycho. Okay, I'll tell
Okay.
you, I was a
Because,
psycho when it
okay,
came to the
because you
Mariners.
know my unpopular opinion.
Absolutely, my favorite part of the Major League Baseball season is the off season. If I could do anything, go back and do anything in my life, I would love to be a Major League Baseball GM. I think that that would be the coolest job. And I'm one of those weirdos that checks rumors I mean, when I was younger, I mean, it was just hit refresh, 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 refresh,
Yeah,
refresh.
yeah.
Like it might have been a problem.
Well, Matt, unpopular opinion, the Seattle Mariners need to win a World Series in 2026 or they need to sell the team. What do you think?
I
And
think
go
that they should have
lightly.
sold the No, no, no. I think they should have sold the team a long time ago, to be honest with you. And then
Oh,
when Nintendo gave the majority over to, or sold the majority over to Stanton, Stanton promised a bunch of stuff that he didn't
yeah,
ever keep his word to.
right,
Hey, we're going to be a big spender. We're not going to be the Yankees, of course, but we'll be the
right.
big spender. But the joke about the 54% and all that stuff, well, I mean, if you look at the payroll and stuff like that, we're always middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's like that's where they want to be. And
For our listener in Australia, can you explain what 54% means? What the rumor of?
so there was a leak. Mariners had a guy in the front office that was talking bad about players,
Mhm.
and it got leaked out. And part of that leak was that the Mariners are trying to win 54% of their games because
Right,
they are very number based organization, and that 54% would put them right where they would want to be to maximize their profit.
right. To keep the fans interested
Yeah,
and to keep them coming to the games and not lose that. And just by winning 54, you don't have to go and spend all this money to 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 win the whole damn thing. But if you stay at 54%, you can get everything that you want, and it's all about money.
right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. And do you believe, because
Um,
he said that to the shareholders. Now he also said a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't true about players. So what can we take
uh,
from that is it true? Did you believe that that's what they're trying to do?
yeah, Jerry Poto's. So, okay, I got an unpopular opinion for you. I have actually a couple.
Hit
A
me. Go
lot of
for it.
people, lot of people hate all over DePoto.
Okay.
They hate the trades. They hate the moves and stuff that he makes.
He built this
He's
entire
always
team.
Bingo, and he did it. He look at our minor league system, and I know that
Yep.
that's always been kind of the cap that he wears. But it doesn't always happen right away, and I know that it's been a long time, and as a Mariners fan, it's been a real long time.
Right.
But you can't say that he's not trying with what he has.
Right.
I mean, what other GM, when Jack Sorensen came over and he took over Bill Bavasi's team was god awful, but he
Right.
didn't trade any of those guys away. He kept them on the team,
Right.
and then he brought in Cano and all those guys, and for what? Depoto When Depoto came here, he, like, if I'm not mistaken, I know he was close, if not set the record for moves made like the first 60 days or something like that, because he was
Right.
gutting everything out. He was actually building a foundation that he can build the team on. And I mean, you can't complain when your minor league system's consistently ranked in the top 10, if not, I think it was one this last year, if not two. And those are things that not everybody can say. Imagine being the White Sox right now, where your system's ranked in the upper 20s, and you're, as far as minor league systems go, and you are getting the first pick of the draft because your team was stinks so bad.
Right. Right. I remember when Depoto took over and you and I were having a lot of these conversations. And I seem to remember every time that a move would happen, I would call you and we talk about it, or we talk about it at work. And there was a lot of conversations. He was making a ton of moves. And I remember we were like, wow, is this good? Is this bad? And I remember you flat out saying at one point, gut the whole thing if you got to. If you
Yeah.
got to rebuild it, and I was like, how can you say that? And you were like, just hear me out. Like, look at what he's doing. He's building the farm. And I was like, I don't care about the farm. I want wins right now. And
And
just pump your brakes, hero.
yeah,
And
that's
now
not
I
the way
look
it
at it, I'm
works.
like, okay, well, he built the number one farm, all these guys, and now we got all these dudes who are just incredible at the major league level. And we have a consistent, for the most part. I mean, good enough to get you to Game 7 of the ALCS.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, even the Yankees have guys that had came up through their system.
Yeah,
You have to be able to have a foundation. You have to be able to replace what's going to go. Because I mean, I don't newsflash: the Mariners aren't going to afford everybody. We have a wonderful rotation. We're not going to be able to keep them all.
right,
I mean, you kind of see who is getting the money now to where they're committing for the long term. Cal, that's great. Julio,
right.
that's
Julio,
awesome.
right.
But not one of those pitchers is signed. So
No,
that's scary. That's something that you could see possibly somebody getting moved this off season, if not
right,
two of them getting moved this off season, because our number one draft pick last year was the lefty from LSU, and then
right,
our we also have the switch pitcher. I always mess up his last name, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. It's like
right.
Kinji or something like that,
Yeah, yeah,
Kenjay or something. But I mean, and then there's Sloan. I mean, they have some really good pitchers coming up that are going to be really damn
right.
good too.
And we know
So
what pitching does. You need pitching,
yep.
but can you tell us what you think we need to win a World Series? We got to Game 7 of the ALCS, and I find that, and Donnie agreed on the podcast. He goes, I think it's a failure too. The Mariners organization is agreeing that it's a failure. Their goal was the World Series. Okay, we need to get to one. Can you tell me what
So
you think from an ex-player standpoint to win one?
I think that it's about damn time that we took some accountability,
Yes.
and that
Let
is a
me
good thing.
right.
It's a lot of people are all over Dan Wilson. I don't think Dan Wilson's the best manager in the world, but if he takes his failures that he went through this offseason and he puts them into next year and learns from them,
And learns
you
from
got
them.
to remember this is his first year,
Yep.
and no one has stepped into a job and has been
Right.
the best that they can be. He ran into a tough Blue Jays team who's giving
Oof.
the Dodgers a run for their money right now.
Game 7.
Um,
Right.
Yep.
Right.
That, and that he obviously you pitched Basardo what 4 days, 3 days in a row.
Every
It
day he had to.
probably wasn't a good time to bring him in. You still had Castillo on the bench who was fresh. You could have
Right.
went Castillo another two and put Munoz in, or Castillo one and put Munoz in. You could have done the same thing with Miller. Obviously, that was a bad choice.
Right.
Springer, every time he was up. With runners in scoring position, we should have walked him. First base was open. He killed us every time runners were in scoring position. Same thing
Right.
with Vladdy. He came up a couple times where first base was open. And you
Right.
don't know. Maybe the next guy gets a hit and drives in a couple runs. You don't
Right.
know, but I would have rather us not taking those chances. But
The stats
moving
against it
forward,
say that, yeah, you shouldn't take the chance. And so next
right?
time, hopefully Dan can learn from that. You bring up a good point.
What?
Dan hasn't coached anywhere. He
No.
he wasn't.
Dan used to be at the softball fields that I used to play at, coaching
Oh,
his little kid.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's coaching his kid. And then,
Yeah.
he's commentating with, Goldie
Right.
on the radio, and then all of a sudden he's our manager. And I was
Right.
for it. I was like, yeah, bring it in. And I thought at first it was kind of like a publicity. I was like, yeah, and Griffey's going to be on first base, and the ghost of Dave Niehaus, Dave Niehaus is going to be coaching third. It's
Right.
just, and that was at
But
the end of the season. They gave him the contract for another year. I'm like, let's see what we can do.
camaraderie is a big deal in baseball, and I think that's where people overlook. I mean, look at the Blue Jays.
Right.
They're as much of a team as the Mariners are. You look at the Yankees. Obviously, they weren't as tight as everybody else,
Hmm.
and I think that makes a big difference. And I think Dan is really excels at building on that.
Right.
Game managing was he's a rookie, and I mean,
Right.
and it was pretty obvious. Going forward, I would hope that we trust our young kids. I think Cole Young should have been probably playing, and not sitting the bench that whole time. Give the kid a taste. Then next year,
Right.
if we make it again, now he has a bit of experience under his belt. It's not going to be fresh for him. Um, I would say to get back there next year, you're There's going to be some moves. I think
Yeah, what do we need?
I
What do you
would
think?
hope I would hope that there's going to be some moves that will probably make some people unhappy. The thing you got to have more of a bullpen. And I think that goes back to where I'm
Right,
listing starters, which the starters were the strongest part of our team for the most part, other than Cal,
right,
was the strongest part of our team. And we have to rely on them late in innings because we got Basardo, who, and no offense to him because he pitched his ass off, he's a nobody. He did
right,
a hell of a job. Spire, I he's probably not the lefty leverage guy that you want. You want somebody a lot stronger than he is. He's somebody that should have been probably pitching in like the fourth, fifth, sixth when we pulled our starters too early.
sure.
He should have probably been an early guy. We definitely got to get some depth in our bullpen. Um, I hope we sign Naylor, and I think that that's everybody's. And if not, we better go after Alonso. We better put some money on first base. Um, let Suarez go. I know that he's a fan favorite, but I
You
mean,
hit a
if you
grand
look at what
slam in
he
game 5, and you're going to be a very favorite player. He's one of mine for sure, but I do agree with you there. If he can't be consistent, you can't have your third baseman batting 150.
no, not
He's
in the
not going to hit
playoffs. I
50
mean,
home runs in at T-Mobile Ballpark, unfortunately.
not to mention he's in his upper 30s and he's going
Right,
to want a 3-4 year deal. You don't
right.
want to get stuck into that. He's again great player, great vibes.
Great vibes in the
uh
clubhouse for sure.
yes, and we're thankful for what he did and what he did when he came over with Castillo. Fantastic.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's time to move on. I don't know. Williamson. I think he has a hell of a glove, but to move that going
Right.
on that, I'm going to speak on my next super unpopular opinion, and I'm happy to say it. J.P. Crawford probably got to go. It's a lot of people love him.
I
You
love
don't.
him.
But how many baseball games have you won not scoring any runs? And I know that his bat
Right.
came on late. His bat came on late. Guy has a hell of a glove. Hell of a glove.
Right.
I seen a stat early on this year that off the past years, not off this year, because he did have a decent year this year, but off the past year, he's like ranked the 23rd or 24th shortstop in MLB.
Is that overall?
That's that's overall.
Yeah.
That's
That's
your
not good.
number one position. That's
Right.
you want to be strong up the middle. You got Cal at catcher, JP at short, and Julio in center field. Now,
Right.
JP is delivering on the defensive side, but he's your nine-hole hitter, you can make the excuse that he should have been batting leadoff. He struggled at leadoff. He
Right.
didn't do well at leadoff. And the good thing is you got young kids coming. Colt is going to be in AAA.
Right.
It might be worth it to keep JP until you move that, but that's going to break some hearts and that's going to ruin a clubhouse if your starting shortstop that's under that big contract gets beat out by a young kid. He's going to be on the bench talking shit. No matter what, anybody that has an athletic bone in their body,
Right.
if you put that time in and you're the veteran and all of a sudden some young kid puts you on the bench, that's a dirty taste in your mouth and that's not going to make you a happy camper. So I think for his sake, we should probably move him, let Rivas play short until Colt's ready, or go out and get, an older vet that's 39, 38 that can hold it down for the half of the season, or who knows, Colt could take it after out of spring training, but you're going to have to
Right.
give him a shot. And if the plan is to hold on to JP, you got to move Colt to third and let Colt try playing third, and then have him and Young at the bottom of the lineup and take their lumps and learn the game a little bit. And that build obviously around Julio and Cal, and those guys are just going to be at the bottom of the order. They might excel, and then or they might
Yeah.
need to be sent down and have a re-go of it. But we have a lot of shortstops coming up,
Yeah.
and
And so what you're saying,
it's
and this is what I love, and sorry to cut you off,
no, you're
while
good.
this
I
thought is
ramble.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And look at me. I got a podcast just filled with ramblings. So what you're saying, because I'm asking you, like, what do you think that we need to win? And what you're telling me is that we do have the pieces to the puzzle. There might be one or two people we have to go get, but for the most part, you're just talking about shifting things in an organization that we already have.
Absolutely. There's no point in blowing it up. We have a damn good team. We need less swing
Yeah.
and miss. That's one thing that Toronto, I think, showed us is they don't strike out.
They
And
don't
how,
strike out.
as a fan watching those games, when you're sitting there and they always get one guy on base. I mean, it was one of
They
the
were
most stressful
aggressive.
things in the world. Yeah, it will just going against those guys compared to like Detroit. This whole playoff thing, it was so stressful in my life. I think it took 10 years off my life because
Bro.
I mean, Toronto was so good. It seemed like, okay, guy gets up, he's on first base, or okay, we got a guy out and the guy hits a double. They were always putting pressure, and that's what they're doing to the Dodgers right now. And pressure, I
Right.
mean, pressure makes diamonds.
That's true. That's very true. So, do you think that the Seattle Mariners need to go or win the World Series in 2026 to give back to the fans, or are you giving them a little bit more time on that?
I am definitely giving them more time.
Okay.
No, I think we're still you got to see what they're going to do in the offseason. I think that that's going to be a big part of as how you feel about them going forward. If they sit on their
Right.
hands in the offseason and they don't do anything, then come on. Like we're not Milwaukee and stuff like that. We
Right.
know that there's a bunch of money coming off the books.
Right.
There's players to be unfortunately moved. I always hoped Harry Ford would go play third base, but it doesn't look like that's what's going to happen with him because I think he's going to be a stud, and
Yeah.
they'll probably move him in a trade this year because there's not a spot for him unless you're
Oh,
going to put Cal at first and have them go back and forth. But I doubt that happens because Cal's still really young
I
from a
went to a
catcher
Rainiers
standpoint.
game this season. And yeah, I went to a Rainiers game and I was like, yeah, I want to see this stud Harry Ford, and he freaking hit a home run when I was there, and I was like, oh, dude,
Yeah,
this is great. That kid's great. But you're right. I mean, Cal's not going anywhere. He's locked up for the next 10 years or something. He just
right,
signed,
right.
right? So where's Harry going to go?
Thankfully.
First, third, somewhere?
Right,
Yeah,
and he played some outfield, but I mean, and we're gonna need outfield help.
sure.
It's look at Kenzone up there in the playoffs. He looks scared. I almost felt
Yeah,
bad for him
right,
when he was up
right,
there. So I don't know if he's the answer.
right.
Ravel,
Rosarena didn't. It wasn't
yeah,
hitting. Yeah,
and he's gone, so his money's gone. That was,
yeah,
10, 15 mil. I mean, there's a lot of
right.
money coming off the books. I would like to see us give Polanco another shot. I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
that at all.
yeah. Guy's a
But
stud.
he's gonna have a hefty contract. I was looking at the contract for Naylor, and they're talking 4 years, 150 mil. So that I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal. He's a blessing to have. I really enjoy his play. He's so smart. He's like intelligent, like
He's
baseball
a hitter.
intelligence. Yeah, he's aggressive. He's good. Good defense from what I've saw. He
If
digs everything
if
out, man. He's a digger.
Oh, he plays a great he used to play catcher.
Oh,
He's
that
a
makes
he's a
sense.
and then they moved him to right field. He is a great guy to have on your team. He's what I call a hitter.
Yeah.
Julio, love Julio to death, but Julio's
Oh,
a swinger.
yeah.
Like there's a big difference there. Josh does a good job at going up to the dish. I mean, yes, he swings at shit pitches sometimes,
Right.
but that's all part of the plan. He sees the pitch that he wants and he's trying to make contact. Where,
Yeah.
Julio, you can almost, all right, here comes the outside curveball that he's going to swing
He's
at
gonna
first
swing and
pitch.
miss. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of the same thing over and
Yeah.
over again with Julio. And hopefully Julio can turn into that hitter as he gets older. And I think it is something that as you mature as a baseball player, you start understanding, hey, I just need to put the ball in play. I don't have to swing out my ass every time.
Right. You bring up a really good point about we need to wait and see what's going to happen this off season. And I'll be honest with you right now. I was kind of leaving it up to you. And in the last podcast with Donnie, I was like, okay, Donnie, you set the stage. I have 1 foot. I had 2 feet out the door. Now I got 1 foot out the door. Let's see. It's going to be up to Matt to either push me out the door or and say, just get out of here, or to reel me back in. And I'll be honest, popular opinion, I think that you've done a really good job, you and Donnie, of reeling me back in here and really getting me back on planet Earth, and that I can't just give up so quickly. And maybe my unpopular opinion, I'm still upset, clearly, and I still want to just take a step back from them and not invest so much time and money and effort and etc. But the reality is I'm going to wait and see what happens in this off season. So and when I was sitting at the Mount Tahoma game, and you know, I was looking around and I see our tower. That you ring that school bell. It's a bell tower. You ring it when you graduate. It's a rite of passage. There's the totem, right? George Nordy Field. He was our coach that won back-to-back city championships. He's like the only coach in Washington, I believe, to do that. And sorry, back-to-back state championships,
Right.
right? 79 and 80. And I remember being in high school, and my history teacher, Mr. Fountain, would say, he was also the department chair of history. He would say when Nordy was at the pep assemblies, it was like the movie Varsity Blues. And he would get up to the podium and he would put his hand in the air and just tell everybody to hush your butt. And everybody would just shut up. He's like, you could hear a pin drop. Like, that's what Coach Nordy meant to us. When he got to the podium, he'd put his hand and like, everybody hush up. And they went from crazy pep rally to just shh, coach is talking. And I'm remembering all this, and it's coming into what's been on my mind a lot lately. And that's this unpopular opinion that the Seattle Mariners, and how I'm feeling about the Seattle Mariners. And I'm like, crap, man, I'm on this fence where I think that I'm done and I'm out the door, and I just give up on them, and they need to win a World Series for you guys, and I'm done. And I'm worried now that if that happens, I am going to miss out. I wrote, what did you call my breakup letter? What'd you call it?
What did I call it? I'm trying to remember.
My Seattle Mariners suicide letter or something like
Yeah,
that?
your suicide note.
My suicide note to the Seattle Mariners, right? Because that's like my last words to them. I am worried I'm going to miss out, you
Well,
know?
well, let me ask you. I
Hmm.
got a couple things for you on this. This
Sure.
is because I listened to that, and I got. What's your favorite food?
Of all time, gosh, chicken
Yeah.
wings or cheesecake. Yeah, chicken. Let's say
What?
chicken wings.
Okay. What's the best part about a chicken wing to you?
Oh man, just the crisp, fresh, crunchy chicken wing. The taste of it.
Yeah. Well, that chicken wing just came out the fryer. You're looking at it and saying, "I don't want it." It's there, and you're quitting at the best time. It would be different if we didn't make the playoffs, if we were third in the West, whatever. That chicken, you got a whole basket of chicken wings right there for you, and you're just, I think I'm gonna leave them.
Oh,
Uh,
the weight of my heart is through my belly, right? Even though I'm like getting fit, I'll still wax on some chicken wings.
hey, I
You're
had chicken
right.
wings today. I had chicken
Yeah,
wings
I had a
today.
whole mess of crepes earlier. Are those little tiny pancakes? I don't know what to do with my
Eh,
hands.
Hey,
Yeah. You're
exactly,
you're right. You're
exactly.
right. I got a whole
And
mess of chicken wings in front of me, and I'm saying, "Nuh-uh," and I'm pushing them
I'm gonna
away.
eat the French fries, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I'm
Is
just
I'm
gonna
gonna
eat
eat
the
the French
fries.
fries because you can't tell me. This is my other thing for you is you can't. So you switched to the Dodgers,
It was
and
amazing.
yeah, you were rooting for them, and they won that World Series,
Yeah.
and you felt good. You felt good about it. Hey, this is
Hmm.
awesome. Imagine what that's gonna feel like when that's the Seattle Mariners. It's
It'll
not.
it'll
It's gonna be 10 times how good you felt compared to
it'll
the Dodgers.
it'll be 1,000 times. It'll be the in and
Because it wasn't given to you. You
right,
weren't going to the chicken wing buffet. You were going to killing and plucking your own chicken and making your own damn wings.
right, and you got to work for it, and you
If
have
that
to.
makes any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense
Bingo.
because I would be everything. It'd be the greatest feeling in the world if Seattle Mariners win, right, when they do it.
Right.
That brings
Well,
up.
you remember when the Seahawks won.
Yeah, I remember exactly what I was doing, what I was wearing, every little thing about it. Um,
Exactly.
and I remember feeling when they went the next year and lost that I was still. I was so upset and I was sad and okay, whatever. The play should have given it to Marshawn, whatever. The number, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. I remember like being upset, but I was still doing good because we went to back and won one out of two. Like we won half of them, that we
Right.
in those back to back years. So I was still riding high from the year before. Um, yeah, if the Mariners do it, I mean that'll solidify everything for the rest of my life. That'll set me up. I mean, look at San Francisco 49ers fans. Their team hasn't won anything since the 90s, and they are like still the most diehard, crazy, and Cowboys fans, the most
Right.
diehard, crazy freaking, and they live off of those 5 championships. They live off of that. Like that's their entire personification. That's their entire everything about them
Right.
is literally that's who they are. Their being is about these championships that they won in the 80s and 90s. And I could understand. So if the Mariners win one in 2000 or 2026 and I'm all in and I love it, that'll keep me going until 2056, like
Did did you ever have a family member that watched the Mariners?
my dad watched, and
Okay.
he's
So
blind now, but he still will have the game on and he can see a little bit out of his peripheral, but he listens to the games. He loves the Mariners. My father
does he
absolutely.
love the Dodgers?
He has been to Dodger Stadium and he's had a Dodger
Hmm.
dog, but I would say there isn't love for the Los Angeles Dodgers like there is the Seattle Mariners.
And there you go. There's another aspect of it. For me, my grandpa, he died without seeing a Mariners championship. That's going to be one of
Right.
the first things I think of if I'm alive for a Mariners championship, and that's what makes it so important not to
Right.
leave, is because there's all that history, and you're going to be able to see it and relate, and it's going to come down to, man, I
The
can't believe I
regret.
get to see this, and so and so couldn't,
If I
or
don't,
you know,
then I'll have that regret. And I want to talk about this, like, and this is kind of revolving, like, how can you not be romantic about baseball, right? That the
right,
line from Moneyball that Brad Pitt, who's playing Billy Bean, says, and it's so true. My friend Naomi, she lives in Arkansas. Shout out to Naomi. I love you, girl. Meet Matt. He's a good guy. Her grandfather, Joe Atkinson, played semi-pro ball back in it was like 1935, and he played. Dude, get this? He played for the Goose Hill Ganders,
that's
and they.
awesome. That's a good
Yeah,
name.
just remember the names back in the day. Now coming to the plate is Joe Atkinson. Joe's been hitting 357 for the Goose Hill Ganders. After the game, he says he likes to go down to the local speakeasy. Just, yeah, So
That the best of times.
well, he was offered a pitching contract. So the Goose Hill Ganders are like a AAA affiliate, essentially. In today's day, it would be it would be like the Rainiers to the Mariners, but they were for the Orioles, right? So Baltimore
Right,
Orioles. So this was back in the day. So he was offered a pitching contract with the Orioles. However, at the same time, he was working at the steel mill, right? So the, that was back in the day where you could play baseball, but you also had to have a day job, to get you through. And he was offered this pitching contract at the same time the steel mill offered him a raise. And the steel mill was giving him a raise, and it was like way more money than playing ball. So he took the promotion at the steel mill, even though it was like heartbreaking and devastated. And he took that promotion. He had to move to a place called East Chicago, Indiana, which I'm told was a real place back then. And so he gave up the sport he loved to support his family. And this is a little bit of a different, like, I'm not giving up on the Mariners because I need to go support my kids, but it talks about, and she was telling me about it, like broke his spirit. Like he wouldn't
right,
really want to talk about baseball, and like the games would be on and he would just, it would make him sad. Now,
right.
Naomi did tell me that he was honored recently by being inducted in the local baseball Hall of Fame in Baltimore, and that's pretty freaking cool. But I could only imagine what it was like for Smoking Joe Atkinson. I just made that up. I don't know if that was his nickname, but yeah, we'll just say Smoking Joe
It's a good
for
one.
yeah, yeah. Old Slappy Joe, old Samsonite Joe, Slippy Slappy, yeah, Simon Swanson, Joe
Slinging Joe,
Swanson,
Slinging Joe Atkins.
Swinging Joe Atkinson. So he's a pitcher.
Slinging.
So
He's a
slinging.
pitcher.
Oh,
Goes
he's
slinging.
slinging Joe Atkinson. For the regret. And I'm worried I'm going to miss out. That can define you.
100%. And like I said, let's see what they do this offseason. When they if they commit to winning, how could you not be a fan? Even if they get into next year and hopefully this never happens. Cal
Right.
goes down with an injury, our pitching
Oh,
staff gets
don't
injured,
even
and we don't even make
knock
it.
on wood. Don't even say that.
But that's the Mariner curse,
And that's
and
what I
that's
don't
another
want to
thing
go. I
about the
don't want to go
Mariners.
through that. I'll tell you
Hey,
what, though. You've
you got to get good
solved
at
the
getting your
riddle.
heart ripped out of your chest.
Yeah. Well, it's happened. It's happened, and some of the worst people in the world have done it, and that's okay. Look.
Well, there's 32 teams, right? Or
Donnie
is
and
it
I were
30 teams
laughing
in
about
America?
it because we're like, if you ever want to date somebody, you can tell them how faithful you are just by saying, "Look, I'm a Mariners fan. I'm never going to cheat on
Exactly.
you. I've
You
been
can
through
cheat
the
on me
worst.
all you want, though.
Yeah, you can't hurt me. I'm a Mariners fan." Well,
Exactly.
I'll wrap up the heart to heart segment there, and I want to thank you because you and Donnie have shown me the light. I have your perspectives. I'm openly listening to them. And I think you're right. And I think the big thing is I got to see what they do this offseason if they're committed to winning. If they're committed to what John Stanton, he took out that huge page in the Seattle Times and said, "Hey, we failed. We're sorry. We're committed to this." Okay, well, you got to do it because been there,
We'll
done
see.
that,
We've heard
heard
it.
that.
We've heard it.
We've heard it, right? So, and that's a big thing. And I'm just tired of being heartbroken. And I was doing this out of self-preservation. So I got some more in me. I'll do it for the Gipper. I'll suck it up, and I'll change my unpopular opinion that the Seattle Mariners need to do something this offseason to win a World Series, or at least go to the World Series in 2026, or I'm going to be really upset.
At least we got to get at least 2 more leverage arms, and we got to get first base tied up.
Got
If
it.
we go into the season with just that, I'm
Then we're
fine.
going to be good. So that's what I'll be looking for. And if it doesn't happen, I'm taking out a full page ad in the Seattle Times, and it's going to be, hey, John Stanton, fuck you. And it's going to have a
Yeah,
link for my
bullshit.
unpopular opinion website. Yeah, for my,
Just
yeah,
starts as bullshit.
bullshit. Just the bowl and then the poop. Yeah, the logo.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I'm going to tell you, it keeps me up at night. Hey, are the Seattle Mariners woes keeping you up at night? Are you having trouble breathing? Well, I'll tell you what. Might not notice, but I'm actually wearing one of my products of the week here. And did you even notice that I'm wearing a Breathe Right strip? Well, I actually ordered these in bulk off the TikTok shop, and they are not Breathe Right. They are a generic brand, but they are nasal strips. I got a pack of 60, and I'll tell you, it has opened up my airway, and I feel a lot better sleeping at night. And the Mariners are keeping me up, but at least I'm not having breathing problems. And I can smell John Stanton's bullshit a mile away. I also, on the TikTok shop, picked up this side sleeper that has a place for your arm to go, hugging pillow, because I can't sleep on my back because I'll die. So I have to sleep on my side, and I got a nice pillow. And everything I get on the TikTok shop is like $10 with free shipping. So what I recommend, if you guys are having problems because the Seattle Mariners are keeping you up, maybe it's something else, problems in the marriage, problems at work, having trouble breathing, pick up some nasal strips and pick up a side sleeping pillow, one of these nice memory foams. Also, side note, I was reading the instructions of the nasal strip, and in really fine letters, it says, "Do not insert into anus," which tells me
Oh.
someone put a nasal strip up their butt, and now we all have to pay for it because somebody ruined it for everybody, and now there's a warning on the label.
Sorry.
You like how I do that little product plug? I don't get paid for these, Matt. These are things that I
I know.
really buy.
So out of everything that you buy, so I've bought a couple things off the TikTok shop.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing?
The all-time favorite thing is the one that
Yep,
was on the
you're
podcast.
every day.
Yeah, the poop stool. The poop
Yeah,
stool. Absolutely. The poop stool.
isn't that
And
great?
it's the greatest. I told you it opened up my eyes and opened up my bowels.
Absolutely,
It's just a new way
absolutely.
to poop because it puts you into that
I
actual
hate.
position that you're supposed to be in. What's yours?
I have 2 of those in each one of my bathrooms. I am and I don't know if you've seen these yet, but I am the guy that's buying the golly gummies. I, I,
So I've looked at
I,
those. Yes.
they are delightful. I took them before I seen them on TikTok, and I have been a subscriber to those. Also, all the damn Ninja products. How do you not buy those things?
How
The
do you just
knives,
not?
all that stuff. Like
All of it. I have the
TikTok
sharpener,
does.
the
Do
Rolly
you have the oil
sharpener.
sprayer?
I have the
Not the
oil
Ninja, but
sprayer. I use that every single day. The oil sprayer, absolutely. I have the rack that goes above your sink for your dishes to
Oh yeah.
dry.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I got all of it.
They
TikTok shop.
they are killing me. They are
It's
killing me.
incredible. It's
It
incredible.
is
I got it. I got
fantastic.
it to one button buy. Just buy right now. It's synced up to Apple Pay. It's super secure. Stuff shows up in a couple days. It's great. And it's
It
$10
cracks me up.
here, $10. It adds up. It is what it is. And
Well,
it's
no,
okay.
it cracks me up because you'll be laughing at a video that you've seen, and then you'll go to the next one, and it's like, oh, I do need a new spatula that doesn't melt.
Yeah, that doesn't melt. And also, yeah, the little tiny little prongs that, yeah, you know what? My
Exactly.
tongs are really way too big.
Exactly.
It's and if here's the funny thing, if they're good actors on the TikTok shop and they're doing it like where I just moved it in and like, hey, are you having trouble sleeping? Seattle Mariners keeping you up? Kind of funny. I will buy it. If they're bad actors, but I believe in the product, I will go and I will look it up on from somebody else's shop. And I'm like, no, you didn't sell me on it. The product
Oh,
sells itself. You guys are crazy.
that's how I got the ninja knives. The first couple ones, I was like, "Oh, these are kind of that person's no good." And then all of a sudden, I started seeing a new person, and I was like, "This person deserves it. This I'm gonna get him from
Yeah,
this guy."
got it. Well, to recap, we discussed the Mount Tahoma Thunderbirds being a number one in our hearts and number one in the league. We talked about growing up playing baseball. You were giving me chills telling me your story about jumping out the window and all of that. Like you were like
Hmm.
my other guest Donnie, who was an expert. He had been on like 50. He has been to about 15 different stadiums, and he only talked about like 8 of them on the show. And like for the sake of time, I was like, man, we can have a whole show about that. He's got a goal to go to 30, which is incredible. I brought on
Did
two
he say
great
what his
experts.
favorite was so far?
He did
Not to
say,
keep you.
crap. He did say, and I can't remember off the top of my head. I want to say it was either Wrigley Field, Dodger Stadium, or Fenway that he loved
Okay,
the most. Yeah, yeah. He's
I
been
get it.
to
I get it.
he's been to 15 of them. He's going for 30. He's going to Camden Yards, Orioles next year. He's already got everything booked, etc.
That's great.
So yeah, he's been all over the place. He told a couple of good stories about that. Um, the reality is that this was a 3-part series on the unpopular opinion that I felt that the Seattle Mariners need to win a World Series in 2026 or they need to sell the team. I was really upset. I was sad. I was doing this out of self-preservation, and you guys have convinced me that maybe I was going a little bit drastic on there, and I need to pump my brakes a little bit and see what they do in this offseason. And I can still take a step back. And Donnie pointed out that me just kind of not letting them hurt me anymore is actually a step forward. It might seem like it's a step back, but it's a step forward. And I agreed. I was like, hey, you're kind of right. Like me taking a step back from the team is actually a step forward in progress because they're just don't let it hurt me. Do my breathing exercises. Remember my pill. Got to wear my
This is to me, this is one of the most important off seasons there is, and it will tell a story based on what they do.
yeah. Well, I agree with you, and thank you so much, my friend. You're in
Thanks for
Montana,
having me.
so I, I,
Hmm.
I wasn't able to get you some of the Little Debbie Christmas tree pies. I didn't get you a
Son of a
7-Up
gun.
pound cake. Don't worry, I'll get you something nice on the TikTok shop, and I'll mail it out to you. I got a couple other things here for you.
Perfect.
There's going to be a
Perfect.
third poop stool,
Yeah,
one for
give me
work
some
and one for
fingernail
at home.
clippers where I can cut my hair at the same time. Cut my.
I'll get
There's
it.
all kinds of weird stuff on there.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you. I love you. You've been a
Love you, buddy.
great expert. Love you too. Stick around after the theme song because we got one more thing to talk about.
Cool.
Thanks for listening.
Unpopular Opinion, that's the name of the show. Hosted by Schaafy and some pals that he knows. We'll have a heart-to-heart, so tune in and subscribe. It's Unpopular Opinion and a hell of a vibe. Love it or dislike it, It's all just the same, 'cause unpopular opinion is there in the name.
Matt, people are talking. People are talking, and
What do you mean?
they're saying that Montana sucks.
What?
Yeah, they're saying you need to move back here.
No way.
They're saying that you need to come and visit for a weekend.
That's a long time to stay in Washington. It's so
A
busy over
weekend?
there.
A weekend is a
Yeah,
long time to stay in Washington.
it's so busy over there. I go to for my work. I go all over the country, and still to this day, I even I guess I should correct myself. LA is just as bad, but Seattle's pretty bad, man.
Fair enough.
It's
I'll tell
so
you what.
busy.
Let's make a pact. If you got your knife, cut your hand right now. We're making a blood pact. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Let's say the Mariners go and they do what they need to do. Okay. And you pick a day next season and you fly in or you hop on the Goose Hill Ganders tour bus and you come on out and we go to a game. What do you think?
I'm down.
Okay. All right. The other thing people
I
are
would love to.
talking about is that the show is doing good. They're liking what they're hearing. We're doing good. And I have a couple people out there that are haters. I do. And you know
You're
what?
gonna have haters no matter what, buddy.
Yeah. My buddy Harold the other day, it was his birthday. Happy late birthday, Harold. His son posted a thing talking about some of the words of wisdom that Harold gives him. And one of the ones was if you don't have any haters, you're not doing something right. And I was like, man, so when people hate on this podcast and hate on me, first and foremost, could you imagine hating on me and here I am just hanging out with a nose nasal strip and I'm in a Star Wars room all day? Like, I'm not doing anything. I'm working 2 jobs, like I'm
There's
working.
probably a little bit of jealousy in there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, if if you're a hater, thank you. I'm glad that you love me so much and you're in love with me so much that
Keep
you want to
listening.
hate. Right. Keep listening. I'm going to bring on experts like Matt all the time. I should have an episode just about haters, and I'll interview 10 different people, and I'll just add little sound excerpts. So the
I
reality
could tell you
is,
some T-Mobile stories about them haters.
oh, we need to have an episode just based upon that. But
Yes, sir.
that's all I got. I love you guys. I love you, Matt. Thank you so
Love you,
much.
buddy.
Yep. Schaafy and Matt out.